Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxford, on the show this evening. It's the one and only Bridgeman and Mr. Positive himself, Lord Jaffa. How are we doing, gentlemen?
How you doing, Ox? Thanks for having me on. Hello, Bridge. How are you?
Oh, listen, big good evening to yourself, Jaffa. Huge good evening to Oxford and the technical guys in the background. And to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio. This is the eve of a huge game. Biggest game in the world tomorrow. Biggest game in the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Yeah, my spies tell me, Bridgeman, you're going to a 7-star job tomorrow. Is that true?
7-star? What's that?
Hotel.
No, I'm going to a wedding tomorrow.
Oh, but I heard 7 stars. I heard 7 stars.
No,
anyway,
no, it's in Dumfries. Do you think there's a 7-star hotel in Dumfries?
Good point.
I don't think so. Maybe it was a total of 7 stars for the area, yeah? Aye, probably.
Sorry for anybody keeping police. Sorry, we're only joking. How are we doing, Jaffa?
Oh, brilliant, Ox. Excited. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Bring it on. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. We're going to hear from your gaffer in a few minutes. Great news. One of our best players in the last few years is back in the squad, Alfredo Morelos.
Brilliant. Can't wait, Ox. That is great news and a great boost to the whole squad. A fit Alfredo Morelos and in the team is nothing short of fantastic. And let's hope he brings a whole... That Alfredo... The buzz that Alfredo brings about him, let's hope that the whole team get a lift from it, because that's what we need.
Yeah. Listen, we know he's not 100% fit, Bridge. We know that. He's come back for a long-term injury. And we know he made a mistake and deservedly gets then after being stupid. We know that. But he's still a top player, Bridgeman, isn't he?
Well, on his game, based on history anyway, on his game, best player we've got, truth be told. Most effective goal scorer we've got, and most effective player because of the way he brings people in and holds the game up and so on and so forth, and obviously causes havoc among the defenders and gets some good shots in. So yeah,
I'll take umbrage with one thing you said. Yeah, just one thing. I agree with 99% of that. I don't think he's my most prolific goal scorer now, Jaffa, is he?
Oh, sorry.
No, on you go, Bridge. Go on.
No, I was going to say, at the present moment, because he's not been playing and he's been injured, and he's really shit attitude, excuse the language, but seriously, that's what's holding him back. In the past, he's been by far our best player on the park.
Yes, I
most
agree
effective in the past.
I agree with that. Jaffa.
On his day, Ox, Alfredo Morelos is one of the best strikers in continental Europe. On his day, on his game. And there's no coincidence that teams like Porto, Lille, and various other English clubs all looked at him. And just recently, whoever I can't remember the team, just escapes my head at the moment, who was looking at him. Alfredo Morelos is a top footballer. You're right, his attitude hasn't been great. He's had a long-term injury. But a fit Alfredo Morelos, he's not Antonio Cholak. He's not that type of player. But Antonio Cholak couldn't ragdoll 3 central defenders. And what Alfredo Morelos does is get you up the park, and his ball retention is brilliant, and he's absolutely brilliant at it. And I would always want to fit Alfredo Morelos in my team. Always.
I don't think he'll play tomorrow. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. But anyway, Brisman, just quickly, you're a guy that's a defence in their mind a lot, and some of that was on the park as well. If you were playing against players, Cholak, who's trying to play on your shoulder, or that physical battle, or Morelos, what would you have preferred?
I always liked the physical battle. I was up for that.
Right.
Players that play off your shoulder, very deceptive. Because your eye line, they just walk away from your eye line.
No, the one I used to love, Bridgeman, the shout, watch him, he's cheating.
But all you need to do is lack of concentration for a couple of seconds. And
goal.
It can be as easy as that. It can be as easy as that, yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
And I think that mob over the other side of the city have got players that can play like that. And they have got to, shall we say, Fast. Their game's fast.
But they can't play like that if we've got the ball in their box, Bridge.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Right.
And I think we're the only team in Scotland that can actually play them.
Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Jaffa, if it's all right with you. We're going to hear from Fredo Morelos. Fredo Morelos, got him in the head. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. We'll see what he's got to say, good and bad. We'll have a quick chat about it. We'll get the phone lines open. Then we'll have the port report, yeah?
Sounds magic.
Bridgeman, you okay with that?
Yeah, good for me, buddy. Good for me.
Right. Alfredo, you time to get yourself a wee cup of tea. Let's hear from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Some supporters were surprised that even after reaching the latter stages of the Champions League that the club didn't bring any new players over the last week of the transfer window. What was the reasoning behind your decision to go with the squad that you've got currently?
As I said before, I think we've done our business quite early in the window. We had to do it because we had an important start of the season, of course, with domestic, but also in Champions League. So, more than happy that with the squad we have at the moment, we achieved our goal in reaching the Champions League, which is a huge achievement for my players. And in the end of the window, as I said before, I was quite relaxed because, I think that the squad is there. Of course, you will always keep an eye on possibilities to strengthen your squad with opportunities that will make you better. But if that's not the case, then that's why we decided to bring no new players. But as I said before, I'm happy with the players we got in now. I'm happy with reaching the group stage phase of the Champions League. So for me, that's our many positives.
First of all, can you just give us a fitness update of Tom Lawrence? Is he going to be available for the game tomorrow? And then just what are your thoughts ahead of the game? How much are you looking forward to the first Old Firm of the season?
Yeah, well, Tom is not available for tomorrow. Unfortunately, he had more problems the day after the game last week, which means he will be out, and I don't expect him back before the international break. So he's some weeks out. Of course, very excited for the game tomorrow. Big game, first Old Firm of the season away. So we are ready for the task. We train well, and it's a very difficult ground to go to, but we have everything to play for, and we are ready for the challenge we're facing tomorrow.
Giovanni, is it possible to ask for an injury update on some of the longer-term players like Kamar Roof, Philip Hollander, Yanis Hadji, John Suter, Ben Davies? That's a question being asked a lot. When can we expect to see these guys back?
For Ben is training with the squad at the moment, so that looks very positive. Kamar is also close to rejoin the group, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. John is, John and Philip, I think will be a longer absence. I hope I can give you more update after the weekend. And Hadji is doing his program. Of course, he had a long-term injury, so hopefully we get him back after the break from the World Cup. But as I said before, Hadji is on schedule, but it's a very long-term injury, so hopefully we have him back around Christmas.
Obviously, tomorrow a huge opportunity for Rangers to go top of the table. Equally, a chance for Celtic to go 5 points clear should they get the result. Obviously, every Old Firm derby of huge significance. But in terms of tomorrow, just how significant in terms of setting the tone for the season as a whole, with so many people expecting a very tight title race?
Well, it's always, the stakes are always high in an Old Firm, so early in the season. So we go out tomorrow to go all in and to win the game, and we work really hard for it. I mean, that's obviously, and it's. I think if you see all the games we played last season, they were all very close. Apart from the game in January, I think that the performance we had wasn't at the level we needed to compete with Celtic. Second half was much better, but all the other games after in the cup and also in domestic, I think the margin is very, very close, and that will be the same tomorrow. So, if you have games who are so close, it's going to be decided by details, and we have to make sure that the details which will make the difference will be on our side.
Good afternoon. Glasgow's been full of rumours that Tav hasn't trained this week. And I was wondering if you could update us about that, and also the fact that now that you've secured Champions League football, has that made any difference to contract talks with Kent and Morelos?
Well, Tef, I heard the rumours as well. I read many rumours in the papers. So normally I will believe everything what's been said in the papers, but this time it was a bit different. Tef trained today as normal. Will be in the squad, so I think we're good to go.
Hi, Giovanni. You mentioned at the weekend that you saw a change in Morelos' attitude. Should we expect to see him back in the squad for the Celtic match?
Yeah, Alfredo is in the squad for tomorrow. So. I had good talks with him last Sunday, so I think he understood the message and also worked hard to be back and to help the team, because he's still a quality player with a lot of threat in front of goal. So he's been training this week, was very positive. So he will be included in the squad for tomorrow.
That must be a huge boost to your players and to yourself to have that option available should you require it.
Of course, I mean you want players in your squad who can change games. I think Alfredo is definitely a player who can do that, and he's still very threat in front of goal. So for me, that gives me another option up front to play with him. So. I'm happy for all of us that he's back, and he looks very positive. So now for him is to make sure he maintain this and also contribute when he's on the pitch.
Good afternoon, Gio. Just touching on Tom, how big a blow is that to lose him for so many weeks? He started his Rangers career so well, and I'd imagine it goes without saying he must be gutted at missing some important games coming up.
Well, of course. I mean, it's to be a player and to be sidelined is never a good feeling. I think Tom had a great start of his Rangers career, and for me as a coach, of course, it's a disappointment he's not available for a couple of weeks. But in football that sometimes happens. We just have to make sure we keep continuing and get Tom back as soon as possible, and just make sure you are performing also with the players you have available. So that's what we're gonna do, and work hard and continue our development as a team, and to continue to get points for the club.
Hi, Gio. Can I just confirm? Did you get an offer in at all for Glenn Kamara? And or was he always a player you wanted to keep at the club?
I always wanted to keep Glenn. I mean, we get many offers for players. I think for Glenn as well. So for me, I was always clear with Glenn that I didn't want to lose him, and especially when we're playing for everything this season. We're in Champions League. So I'm really happy that Glenn is still here, and because he's an important part of this squad, and he will make his contribution this season again, like he did also last year.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Our manager Jaffer, he's very honest, very direct. Sometimes refreshing, yeah.
100%, Ox. 100% honest. He tells it like it is. Tells you straight. The questions asked. Very insightful there to some of the updates and how he sees the game, and he thinks the game's all going to be about small details tomorrow, and I think he's right.
Bridgeman, Gio's starting to grow on me more and more.
Well, you obviously got to listen to the guy. He speaks very slowly, and obviously there's a difference in his English is really great, but his mind's taking a wee bit of time sometimes to translate what somebody's saying to him, particularly of journalists. But I think he's doing very, very well. He's up for everything, and he's very confident of the players that he puts onto the park. Very confident, and obviously they're going to find out if they don't come up to it. And there's going to be another big change for some of the Rangers players where they're not used to getting spoken to in the heavy words, And maybe that's what happened to Alfie. Maybe Alfie was told, get yourself. This is a big opportunity. Get yourself right and get out there. When I tell you get out there, you go out there and you do everything you can. None of this petulance, none of this shouting at the referee or anything like that, and don't get booked. And that's what we need. We need Alfie to be told, particularly from our manager, and that will prove a strong character. I believe he's got a strong character anyway. I think he's a superb manager. I do. I really do.
I think he's grown on me, Jaffa. Does that make sense? He's I think he came in after Stevie G. He was a fantastic communicator. Whether you think what it was as an overall manager, but as a communicator, he was first class. Giovanni, like the three of us on here, English isn't his first language, so he's grown on me, mate.
I totally get that, Ox, and I feel similar myself. Because we all knew him as the player, but we didn't know Giovanni as the manager. And he listen, what he done with that squad of players, which in the main wasn't his, what he done with that squad and what we achieved last season. I know we only won the Scottish Cup. We didn't win the league. I get all that, but getting to Europe in particular, the run that he navigated through Europe. And then I think the window that we've just had and the kind of players that he's added to the team, like Tom Lawrence, a lot of us knew of the name, but we didn't know Tom Lawrence, the player. And Cholak, obviously, he spotted, whether that's been inside information. He has grown on me, Ox, and he speaks confidently, and he now knows the capabilities of his team, and he now knows the way the team have an identity in the way that they play, and he's very cool, he's calm. We've just been to PSV, notoriously difficult place to go and get a result, and that's for any team in Europe, and we beat them in their own backyard.
Again. We have a habit of beating them in their own backyard, didn't we?
We have, aye. 3-2 again. What a result. Omens.
Yes, all right. Bridgeman, if it's all right with you, because it's the night before Christmas, we'll get the phone lines open, yes?
Yes, please. Get them in.
Right, you put the mince pies out and get the carrots. Let's hear for you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay. Well, the debate started last night and even the night before, Jaffa, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I'll give Bridge a bit of time because he's a gentleman and one of life's senior citizens. He can have a bit of time to think. Jaffa, what's your team for tomorrow?
McLaughlin, Tav, Goldson, Sands, Barisic, Lundstrom and Kamara and the two, Tillman, Kent and Arfield and Cholak.
Okay. Before Bridge gives his team, let's hear the report.
Hello and welcome to Port's Report. Today we're going to look at Celtic versus Rangers. Only 6 games into the season and the first Old Firm game is upon us. Rangers and Celtic both into the Champions League and the stakes could not be higher. The two heavyweights of Scottish football were separated by 4 points in last year's title race, with Celtic coming out on top, while Rangers went on to an amazing run in the Europa League, getting to the final and winning the Scottish Cup. Under Postecoglou, Celtic have deployed a 4-3-3 formation, their centre-backs holding midfielder and striker holding positions, but if you watch closely, it's the full-backs that come inside, wingers come short, number 8s break into forward spaces and into channels. Teams have struggled to cope with this. Number 8s will push forward and get close to Kyogo or Giacomakis. McGregor will sit in midfield, while Matt O'Reilly will add further support further forwards. The fullbacks coming inside allow Celtic to dominate by overloading the midfield area, while also providing the single pivot with support and defensive transitions. They will help lock the ball in opponent's half, and this also prevents counter-attacks. This allows them to dominate possession under Postecoglou with their fluid movements and their short passing, which can prove too much for most teams in our league. Celtic press very aggressively and are often high up the pitch. They rank in the top teams in Scottish Premiership for duels, tackles and interceptions. The 4-3-3 structure is ready to collapse inwards, counter-press and suffocate the opposition. The high back line Celtic use helps them do this effectively. The wingers will often join the centre forward in pressing high, bending their runs inwards to force the ball into the centre of the pitch. The number 8s are then free to jump forwards and press high also. The fullbacks will also move forward to support the next single pivot with the next line of the press. Last year Rangers under Gio got to grips with Celtic's system. In my opinion, the rivals truly back 100%. Two competitive teams that have big ambitions. Celtic's danger men. Jota has started the season very strongly, arriving from Benfica on a full-time contract. He's very quick, great dribbling ability, has an eye for goal, provides assists, works hard for his team in terms of off the ball, running and pressing. Kyogo has arrived at Celtic and has hit the ground running. Small in stature, looked like he couldn't cut it in Scotland, although with great pace, movement and in-game intelligence, he's proved a very good signing. Callum McGregor has filled the captain's role very well. His role has changed as he's now more of a holding midfielder and became a real leader on the pitch. Good mixed range of passing, can score goals, superb movement and always finds space. Matt O'Reilly has growing reputation in Scotland as a very mobile midfielder who has great range of passing, not very quick but reads the game very well. Very good in set plays and works tirelessly in the engine room, has a habit of getting important goals. Rangers will have to show all qualities we saw in the European football. I really feel if we can play to those levels, no one in Scotland should touch us. And when teams play football against us, that's when Rangers open teams up and destroy them. And that's the end of Port's report.
Six hours it took to edit that, Jaffa. 6 hours. Some of the language in it in the original was unbelievable. Anyway,
I actually believe that.
What's that, Bridge?
What's that again, pal?
What'd you say? I missed that.
No, I'm saying I believe that they're not swearing in it.
Fair play to young Port. He's doing really well with it. It's a good feature and he's putting himself out and putting a bit of time in it. And he always sums up the opposition very honestly, Bridge manner.
Oh, aye, absolutely. Post the top man, as far as these things are concerned.
I don't tell him that, Bridge. He's wanting more money.
I know that.
He's wanting more money.
He's not hearing it face to face, so it's all right. We can let Fox in the net. Fox will let it all out.
Aye. Look, Jaffa, he's right. A lot of the things he says about their players and where they are, and they've spent a bit of money as well. Let's not kid ourselves. They splashed the cash for the last 2 years to try and catch up the Premier team in Scotland to the European force. And ultimately, they thought they were going to get all these riches potentially to themselves, and we've done it the hard way again and got into the Champions League, and maybe people on their chips, Jaffa.
Well, exactly. Ox. I mean, yeah, they have got a decent. They're a decent side in Scotland. They've yet to be tested in Europe. I mean, the test that they came up against last season in Europe, they failed utterly miserably. In three competitions, they got parked out. I don't think they were parked out of the European Song Contest. But then somebody can maybe correct me on that one. But Ox are a decent seat. They're a decent side. We'll need to be at it tomorrow. We'll need to be put in the absolute best performance we'll need 11 heroes tomorrow, and we'll need probably 11 8 out of 10s and a couple of 10 out of 10s in there. And we'll need our big players to be on their game tomorrow. They'll be up for it. But I've got no doubt that we can match them in every department. And I think man for man, I still think we're a better side. We're a better footballing side. And I think Port's 100% correct. When teams do play football against Rangers, that's when we're at our absolute best. We all know that the pace of the game tomorrow is going to be 100 mile an hour. It always is. And for me, that's a critical part of the game tomorrow, because we do have our midfielders, in particular Kamara. We do like to take the second touch. And I would like us just to get back to that one touch pass and move. And when we do that, we are by far more effective than what they will be. And it's about the space and reading the game and reading between the lines tomorrow. That's what's intelligent, and that's why I chose Scott Arfield, because I think Scott Arfield in his link-up play, and he can play a holding role if he's asked to do it, and he can also get forward, Scott. So I think we're going to need game intelligence tomorrow, and I think that's what's going to be our biggest attribute.
I was going to ask you that. Where would you play? Where are you playing Scotty Arfield?
On the right.
So
play Tillman through the middle as a 10 and Arfield on the right.
Okay.
Right. In front of Tav, and I think that's the reason why I wouldn't play Scott Wright. I would bring Scott Wright on, Ox, because I think Tav, when he's got Scott Wright on the park, I think sometimes the two of them run into the same position. They run into the same channel. Whereas Arfield allows Tav that freedom, and he'll drop in behind him. And Tav's at his most effective when he's got space in front of him.
Bridgman.
I would go for a very similar team to Jaffa's. I would go, obviously, keep McLaughlin in. Although half of me says we should put McGregor in because he's got a vastly more experience against the Celtic. But McLaughlin's the top man. He's got the job. So it's McLaughlin goal, and it's Tavernier, Golson, Sands, and Barisic. Midfield would be, I would have, one personal opinion, I would have Harfield, Lundstrom, and Kamara. And up front, I'd play 4-3-3. And up front, I would be having Boy Wright. I'm actually between Wright and that other fella that nobody quite likes, but I think he's got something. Matondo. I'm actually between they two, but I'll go for Wright. So we'll have Wright, Kolak or Cholak, whatever it's how to pronounce it, and the Kent.
Okay, so one difference there, I think, if I'm correct, is that right, Jaffa, for your team?
Yeah, one diff. Tillman's not in Bridges' team.
Because he's forgot about Tillman.
Actually, right. I did. I'll put Tillman out instead of Wright.
All right, so that's the exact same team as Jaffa, is it?
That's fine. I don't mind. Jaffa's a good man.
Lawrence is injured, and unlucky for the boy. He started hitting a bit of form in some decent games and scored goals. His Rangers career had started well. And the boy's got a bit of dig about him. He can strike a ball, he gets involved. I don't think he's got the greatest pace in the world. Doesn't mind a tackle, brave. Looks a seasoned pro, if that's fair, Jaffa.
Yeah, Tom Lawrence is a great player, Ox. But yeah, he's best going forward. He's naturally not. He's not going to give you that. He's not a box to box. He's not powerful, runner. He's not got blistering pace, but his game intelligence is second to none. He reads the game brilliantly. He's always in space, which I love about a player who always moves. They're always moving into the space. And I think that's why Gio's identified him as being an instrumental part of the jigsaw in our team. Arfield's got a lot of those attributes. He's just not got the same quality of dig. But Arfield will go beyond the lines. And that's why I chose Arfield, Ox, along with Tav. Arfield and Tavernier have a great understanding, and they have a great understanding in the 1-2. And introduce Tillman into that, or Cholak, or if Kent's over there, or Lundstrom or Kamara. I think if we can get those triangles going, we can really do Celtic some damage.
All right, okay. I like Tom Lawrence there. I think he's to a reasonable start. Bridgman, I thought he's one of his best performances. I don't think he was the best man. It was the first half away in Eindhoven. I thought he was just picked by Kamara that half. I thought he was excellent that night.
Was that Tillman you said?
No, Lawrence.
Lawrence. I was going to say, I didn't quite hear it. No, I think Lawrence is like Jaffa. I think he's a smashing player. Very effective player for us. Very effective player. There's during certain games the way that they play is. If he's not in the centre of it, then he can shall we say, you could see him not being too involved with the game, and it takes him a wee while to get himself into the right position. But seriously, he's a wonderful player, and I think he's the guy who's going to score a lot of goals for us. Not necessarily this season, but I hope so. But he looks as if he's lifted his game. However poor he was anywhere else, he's far better playing for us. We need him more than anything else. That's the truth.
But unfortunately, we might miss him. But you can't ponder. You're just going to go on, mate. You can only play the players that's fit, Jaffa, yeah?
100%, Ox. 100%. It's someone else's opportunity, and that's always the way footballers view these things, and that's how dressing rooms operate. You know, Scotty Arfield tonight, I'll be in his bed now. He'll be sleeping with his kit on. That's just the way it goes, Ox. And Arfield, we all know what we're going to get with Arfield. I'm assuming that's going to be the team that, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst might have different ideas, but we'll find out tomorrow at 11:30 or whenever the team's announced. But that's my call on it. You've just got to pull the team's got to pull together and go out, and it's the tactics, Ox. It's always the more important thing. It's not so much the personnel, of course, is important, but it's the tactical game plan, and that's one thing we always sometimes forget is that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, some of his tactics that he deploys have been highly, highly effective. Only recently, 8 or 9 days ago, when we played Eindhoven.
Yeah, good shout, mate. The way he played that night, when he got the players to shut their players down in small areas of the pitch, it was a difference for the game at Ibrox, and it stifled them, didn't it, for a large parts of the game?
It did indeed. I not just single players. I like some players playing doubles. I like the way Tillman plays, and he's always looking for the wee soft touch pass. Sometimes it's too soft, but he likes that, and I think those two, Tom Lawrence and Tillman, make a good pairing, and that's my opinion anyway. I think they two will be dynamite for Rangers as we go forward. Seriously.
Well, they've got attributes, the boy Tillman, whatever how you want to pronounce it, Jaffa. He's got a touch. He's going to do some outrageous things, and he's also going to. We're all going to lose the rag, and we're all going to back heels man inside the in half. We're all going to go nuts.
He's got it all, Ox. He's a player. He's an absolute player. He's got a brilliant leap on him, as we've seen with a couple of headed goals that he's had for us. He just reads the game. He reads the game probably. He reminds me of Michael Mols, Ox. That's my one thing that I think about when I see him. His demeanour, the way he holds the ball, the way he shields the ball, those dummies that he plays, he's deft touch. He is frustrating as well, don't get me wrong. Not everything comes off. It never will. It doesn't come off. It didn't come off for Maradona all the time or Messi. But he's got the balls to try it, and that's what you need. He's just got charisma, he's got craft, he's got everything. He's a great player, Malik Tillman. I sincerely hope he becomes a Ranger for the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh, that's a big call.
Oh, that's good. I love it, Jack. I love it. Do you think Rangers, it's an option to buy we've got, isn't it, with him?
Yeah,
yes.
Double in the detail, but it's quite a few million, Jaffa, isn't it?
Buy 4.8 million, I think it is, something around there, to make it a permanent deal.
I hope Rangers tell them that they're very interested in, and don't take any other buyers, because I think we'll get first chance, isn't we? Really,
I think it's an exclusive on it. Yeah, we've got an exclusive option on it.
There's another one. Who else have we got?
Sands.
With the
Gold
same
stands.
situation.
Same situation now. Exclusive pledge. That's not the same as fans only. That page you've got.
He cost a fortune, eh, Bridge?
Oh, he's one. He's doing his fans only for the more mature ladies in a Thursday afternoon.
Doesn't it have tops of rubbish, didn't it?
What he did yesterday, Sudoku's Bridge, wasn't it?
Sudoku's, aye. I wish.
Right, but this is a phone-in show. Night before a massive game, night before an all-firm game. Let's hear from you if you're about. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Jaffa,
Yes.
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
And you're welcome to pitch in as well, Bridge. Right, okay. But we know we've not played brilliantly in every game and we dropped 2 points. Controversially, and we had the Easter Road, yeah, in the 93rd minute or something with 9 men due to petulance and bad refereeing. And if the first one didn't happen, the second one might not happen. So then the referee did influence it again. Right, so if we had a bad or a good start to the season, because we've dropped 2 points Easter Road, and by the way, we've all done that again. We've all drawn at some point at Easter Road. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. But our main goal at this time of the season was to collect as many points as possible. We've done, bar 2 we've dropped. Yeah, I would rather we didn't. But we're qualified for the Champions League. What the start of the year we've had, especially if we can get a result to the season, if we can get a result tomorrow,
Absolutely brilliant start to the season, Ox. I mean, you've got to put things into perspective. We've got to put some context and perspective on it. We've dropped 2 points, but we turned a 2-0 deficit for the team that finished second in the Jupiler League in Belgium, and we turned them over 3-0 at Ibrox. They're not the most fashionable of teams. I'm not saying that. We then are faced with a 2-legged tie against PSV. They were the outstanding favourites. We drew 2 each for them, and incidentally, played them off the park for long periods of time at Ibrox. They were a good side. I was at the game. We then go over to Eindhoven 7 days later, and we did beat them. I'm not saying we played them off the park. Again, it was a very, very good game of football. But we won the game, and we won it deservedly. We've had a great start to the season. We're now in the Champions League, which we've all been aspiring to as fans for the past 12 years since everything that happened to the club. We've been awarded with some great financial boosts to the coffers, which will help clear some of the outstanding loans that were all there. We've sold some of our players for an unbelievable fees during the summer, which is a great marker. I know a lot of fans want to hold on to all our players, but we can't simply do that. We sold Bassi for the best part of €27 million, highest transfer fee ever in our club's history. We've had a great start to the season. And you're right, Ox, if we turn tomorrow into 3 points, which I absolutely believe we can, 110%, we're 1 point ahead.
Bridgman.
Also, I agree with Jaffa there. I think we've had a really good season so far. The one that you highlighted, Oxford, the Hibs game, and you're right, we will come up against it with Hibs sometimes because they're that type of club and that type of players in the team. But I'm just still rankers with me that we got a man sent off in this and it's been rescinded. The red card. That red card cost us. It cost us a point. And we can never get it. We don't seem able to get that back in any way, shape or form, and I can't understand it. So I don't know what they can do about it. However, overall, I don't think we should have lost the game against Hibs. We shouldn't have drawn it. I think we should have won that game, the way things were, But anyway, I still think we're having a good season so far, particularly in the European area. You add all that up and we're undefeated in the league. Can't go much better than that.
Interesting to see what other people think. I think we're pretty much singing off the same hymn sheet, but people are entitled to their opinion. They may be wrong, Jaffa, but they're entitled to it.
Well, that's listen. It's Rangers Radio. You know, the Bears are and Bearettes, the ladies and gents out there. Phone us in. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us your team. Debate it with us. Let's hear what you've got to say. That's what Rangers Radio is all about, and that's what this platform is all about.
Yeah. Here's something I never thought I'd do, obviously. Fishman, it's funny. I think it's one of your old school chums, believe it or not. There's a blaster. There you go. Right, okay. Let me just get this right. Right, okay. This is a first, I think. It's the old Molly who listens to the show. She's celebrating. Listen to this. We don't do this often, but I think she's entitled to it. Molly is celebrating 100th birthday.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
well done, Molly. Well done indeed.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Molly.
Happy birthday, Molly, yeah. Well, how the changes that lady's seen in her life, Bridge, yeah?
Oh,
yeah.
She's been through 2 wars. That's amazing. Quite amazing.
Good man. Do the Masters. First one had finished.
Well, so she's just 100. I thought she was over 100. Sorry.
100.
That's fine. No problem.
100th birthday. He was born, 1922. Congratulations, Molly, and all the best to everybody here at Rangers Radio.
Yeah. Well done indeed. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm in your camp, Jaffa. Mission accomplished. Bang. Get a result tomorrow. We'll get a wee tie at Ajax. We'll see where that takes us. Ajax, how we want to pronounce it. Then we're back to the bread and butter away. Aberdeen. Yes, it's a big week for us. 3 away ties. 2 were traditionally the hardest grounds to go to. And let's also be honest, Jaffa. Even when they've not got a decent team, it's always been a difficult place to go to for us, and they don't like coming to our place near us. So that's the nature of the game, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. But this is the games, Hawks, that add steel to the group of players. And I can't stress highly enough about going to Eindhoven, the kind of confidence that gives, that does, and it gives the actual group of players. It gives them belief. So going to Celtic Park should not faze one player in our group. It shouldn't faze them at all, and it won't faze them. There's a couple of new additions. There'll be some guys making their debuts. Tillman and Cholak will be well versed by the rest of the players with Barisic. And no doubt with James Sands, the kind of compatriots, the American lads in the team, and in general the captain Tavernier, and no doubt that's what's been getting drummed into them all week on the training ground. Gio said they've had a great week at training. They've really got knuckled down. Alfredo's back in the squad, as you quite rightly pointed out at the start of the Rocks. He might come on, he might not, but the very fact that he's in the group is important, because it's about harmony and creating harmony, and that helps a lot. But we've had some tough games. They've not been tested yet. They've only played league games. This is a different level. We're a different kettle of fish for them. I've got no doubt tomorrow we're going to do them, and we're going to do them well.
I'll take any kind of victory, Bridge. I'm not greedy.
Like all the years we've known, it's always tough. You're right. Always tough to go to that place, and they find it tough coming to our place. And sometimes we turn them over, and they do the same to us sometimes. But I agree. I'm going to stick with my 1-0. I'm going to 1-0 for the Rangers tomorrow. But I think it's going to be really, really tough, really tight. So we're depending on our twin centre halves on a really good game and do the business, because some of these people are quite good at their job, up front. Just playing off the shoulder, as you said earlier, they play off the shoulder. It's really tough for everybody, Rather somebody come in and barge into you or something better.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. And obviously, players might have good games, bad games, or whatever, and an Old Firm game. That'll not define the Rangers' career, Jaffa, will it?
No, not at all, Ox. No, but I'll tell you what, having a good game and scoring a goal if you're Antonio Cholak certainly endears you to the fans. He looks right up for it. He looks a brilliant addition to the squad. I mean, he's grown in confidence. You can see him. His body language and the kind of positions he's taking up. He's starting to get that. He now knows what it's all. He's learned what it's all about. He's playing at a massive club. The expectations are huge, and he's delivering. And all we ask is that the big guy keeps banging goals in. And he's got an eye for a goal again. He sees that pass. He sees the space. I'm liking Big Cholak's his movements. Absolutely brilliant to watch, Ox. It really is.
The wee bit of the physical side in him, Eindhoven Bridge, in particular in the first half, he was getting in front of centre halves. Things that I didn't think he had in his locker. So to me, he's improved as the seasons went on.
Yeah, listen, you're watching a man starting to gain confidence. He's scoring some goals, which is what he wants to do. He's gaining confidence, and that will affect the rest of his play. He's in and around there. It's always tough when you're on your own against a number of defenders there who could pass along balls or are half-decent passers. Your chances of catching the ball are quite slim. However, when they're back too far, he's going to be a danger when they try to pass back to the keeper, because he's pretty good. His positional sense and running into against the keeper, very, very good. He's caused them panic a number of times, and that's really, really smashing when he does that. And I think he's a good player, a really good player. And he's coming on all the time.
Aye, what's he got? Five league goals, is that right, Jeff? 5? Am I right in that?
5 and 9, is it? 5 and 9, 5 and 7.
I think 5 and 7.
5 and 7. 5 and 7.
Okay.
Great return, Ox. Great return. I mean, if Joe Hart's getting in about him, he better not have any sleepless nights thinking back to that PSV goalkeeper passing the ball out for the back. Because Tillman and Cholak will be they'll have that for breakfast tomorrow.
It's when you spring together, it's difficult, isn't it? Make it difficult, but you've got to get it together.
Absolutely. And that's the finer details of the match, Ox, and it's about timing and knowing when to do that and lulling them into a false sense of security. Exactly what we've done in Eindhoven. We allowed them to get away with it for, the best part of 45, 50 minutes in the game, and then bang. And that's partnerships, and that's what happens when players start playing together and they start playing for each other, and running that extra, just putting that extra bit of pressure on.
It's like you and Mrs. W. You don't spring together, mate. It doesn't work.
It's very true, It's very true.
Anyway, right, okay. Big Golston. I'm not saying he's had a bad season, but he's a leader. I think he's a pivot tomorrow, Bridge. A pivot.
I rate him very highly. To me, he's been the most dependable, and it's just in a couple of wee games there, he's been a bit off, shall we say, not quite himself. But he's starting to come back in. He's an absolute stalwart for the Rangers defence, and has been for the last 4 years. And I'm just hoping he turns up again tomorrow and gives not an inch, not 1 inch as a give. And that's what I'm looking for. And we're looking for Tavernier to be on his best at the defensive side. And away you go. And young Sands, of course, Sands is a tackler. That's what he is. He's a tackler. But he's a good player. He's a good player. You can see that boy's not too bad, because we're having horror thoughts about him for a wee while. He's turned out very, very good. And as long as he doesn't give away any silly ones, because the Rangers Celtic match, the referees tend to give cards out quite quickly sometimes, However, let's hope he doesn't get caught. And of course, I've said about Bonner, I hope he keeps his good form going for tomorrow. Have a really good game. Come on, the defenders, come on, get it done.
Yeah. I think it was on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday evening? On the nights of Billy and I can't remember who else they thought. McGregor would start. I think there's only one goalie starting tomorrow, and that's nice Slight. and Alan McGregor, and John McLaughlin is the man at the moment, Jaffa.
100%, Ox. I don't know what that would changing that back to McGregor would cause chaos. In the in the dressing room, you can't do that. But the guy's not done anything wrong. In fact, if anything, he was part of the getting us through again. Looking back to the same game, the PSV game, he had some absolutely brilliant saves that night. His distribution's really good. I agree with Big Stevie's point last night. McGregor coming out for cross balls, all that. I think he's not as good a shot stopper. I'm not saying I love Alan McGregor to bits. I think Alan McGregor's a great guy, absolute brilliant Rangers goalie. But I think the times now that this is John McLaughlin's number one spot, and I'm absolutely sure he'll start tomorrow. And he was in the presser today as well, so I don't know if that tells you anything. But he was obviously talking to the media today, which is usually a surefire sign that you're starting, isn't it?
Usually. Same call for you, Bridge. I know you swerved about Alan McGregor, but you went with McLaughlin. I don't think it's a call that we made, honestly.
Well, truth be told, I think there's a lot of Rangers, a lot of bears out there think McGregor's still a better all-round goalkeeper than McLaughlin. However, others see we're slightly changing a wee bit, because we really do need and want a goalkeeper to come out and tackle that, go for the high balls. And McLaughlin does that a wee bit better than McGregor, I have to say. I don't think he's in the same quality as McGregor in making the saves. McGregor makes fantastic saves. But McLaughlin's not done too bad. But he does make... We're weak at crosses, generally in defence. And we need the goalkeeper come out and make that wee bit extra height with his arms and put the ball away. And he's doing it. And well done to him.
Aye. He's building up his experience. That's 4 European ties he's played for us. And aye, we're proud of John McLaughlin. I hope he's a quiet game tomorrow, Jaffa.
Absolutely, 100%. Just do what he's got to do. Keep that boy at the net at all costs. At all costs, Ox. No, I think it's McGregor's. I think it's McLaughlin's jersey tomorrow.
I think so myself, mate. I do think so myself. But what a backup we've got, if I'm being honest, Jaffa.
Yeah, and I see McCrory's there as well. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alan McGregor's still a top goalkeeper. He's still there. He's as fit as a fiddle. I mean, I know he played midweek, and that's good because it keeps him moving and keeps the agility moving, and he's involved. So he'll be passing a lot of experience on to John McLaughlin. No, make no mistake about that, Ox. McGregor's, he could write a book about Parkhead. In fact, there's quite a few people who could write a few books about Parkhead.
Oh, one with a broom and a carpet. Don't get me started. You try to goad me, Jaffa. You try to goad me, innit?
Yes. He's getting there, by the way, with the sound. He's
trying to goad me. Yes, you're right. Yes. Alan McGregor, great backup in my opinion. Hopefully John McLaughlin is a quiet match and keeps a clean sheet. James Tavernier, our captain, he'll not be apprehensive about tomorrow. He's over the piece. I think Tav's fried in some of these games, and sometimes he's some great performances away from home, driving us forward. Rich.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, of course. I just love Tav when he's in form. He goes forward with a purpose, and he always wants to be in among the action. The other day there, he went up and headed the ball and headed it against the bar, and I'm thinking he's the only person there for the far post for that. Why is that? Why is it only him? He was unlucky. No, Tav's a marvellous athlete. What an athlete he is. What was the score about the ending noticer here? That somebody said he was injured.
Oh, Giovanni said it's funny. He's been training with him all week. So. There
you go.
Blasphemous rumours.
Yeah,
You keep away from the rumours. You after what you done last week. I had to pay a couple of people out last week because of you.
Love it.
Yes. Get your facts correct, innit? The night we play Napoli, we've got Rangers supporters going to Amsterdam in flights because of bridge.
You'll be getting barbed off Twitter, Bridge.
That was a mistake. False information.
It was a mistake. The guy's £800 down and going to Amsterdam and there's no gambling.
If I did cause any consternation, my humblest apologies.
Don't worry. All the bills will be in the post. There'll be nothing to you. You'll just need to buy a paper for a couple of days. Oh, well, you've got to laugh now, Jaffer, haven't you?
Oh, aye, it was it was rather funny. The power of information, eh?
Yes. Right, okay. In a couple of minutes or so, we'll have a tune. And then we need some callers. Well, maybe it's because we've not got any bad news. Jaffer, what do you think?
Possibly, aye, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a big game tomorrow. I would imagine the Bears must be getting up for it, and there'll be a couple of sash bashes starting. So,
I would think so. Our club's in a great place considering where it's been. Yeah, let's be honest. In the last decade, we're in the Champions League. We've brought in new players. We've been unlucky with injuries. We can go top of the league tomorrow. Finances are good, Bridge. Manager's good. Support's second to none. What a decent place, Bridge.
You know, when you think about it, you know, I think we're in a really fine position. That are a lot of the fans and Bears will say, look, you know, we've got so many people out injured that it may be detrimental to the squad, you know. And a lot of them some of these guys will be just first team picks, and that's all there is to it. But the club's done very well, the team's done very well, and their manager doesn't appear to be up nor down about it. He's the one that's going to handle all this, and by the sound of it, and he's going to stroll forward, and that's it. And he's got a big game on against them tomorrow, and he knows it. He knows it from playing there, and he knows it from now as manager. He knows what it's about. So I'll put all my confidence on him. He'll be able to do whatever needs to be done, and let's see what happens.
All right. If it's all right with you two chaps, we'll have a tune. If that's all right, Jaffer.
Absolutely, no problem. I hope it's a good tune.
Well, better be Foxy been working this all day. Take it away, Foxy boy.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard. We've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Scotland's gallant few. most successful team in football. With Scotland's gallant few, with times they have been hard, we'll follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Whoa.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
What a tune, Jaffer. Purple.
Oh, love it. Love it. Gets the hairs going in the back of the neck.
What is it? Just 100 days ago, approximately something like that, but in Seville last season, with the Seville Scottish Cup Final Champions League qualifiers. The excitement just keeps rolling, doesn't it?
Brilliant now, Ox. The games are just massive. You know, next week we're away over to Holland again. We're away to Ajax. As you said earlier, I've got Aberdeen away. Just, you know, big games. And when you're a footballer, you know, especially at our club or any big club, that's the kind of games you want. That's what you come to big clubs at Rangers. You know, like in the case of Tillman and Cholak. And I know they've come from they've got a decent, you know, track record, these guys, but I know Tillman was at Munich and Cholak was in Turkey or wherever he was, POK, Greece. But, you know, coming to our club, Ox, this is the games you want to play, and no two ways about
it. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Niko Katic's message on Twitter. I know you like the Twitterati. Jaffa, did you see his message to the fans in the club today?
I did. I thought it was lovely. Very touching. Obviously, fond memories of our club, Ox, and it's no surprise because I think his career really, you know, I think he saw that as a platform for where he wanted to be as a footballer. Clearly dedicated footballer at our club. Terrible injury, of course. Terrible injury. But the club stood by him. And the club have got to take a lot of credit for that because they got him back to fitness and he's got himself a decent move, Big Katic. He's a likeable big fella. Clearly got a soft spot for our club and we'll remember us, you know, forevermore. But you know, that's football, isn't it? It's like sliding doors, isn't it? Right place at the right time and hitting form and all the rest of it. And we've got a very settled, you know, back line, and he just wasn't going to force his way into the team. You know, Leon King's probably ahead of him, so got to move to Zurich. Ox, not a bad standard. You know, Swiss football. Good luck to him. I wish him man, but the best. And I'm sure I can speak for every Rangers fan, you know, across the globe that follows our club.
Here, Jaffa. Here, pal.
Aye, it goes with everybody's best wishes, Jeff Bridgeman.
Absolutely. There was nothing wrong with the guy. My only criticism of it, and I don't mean to be too critical at all, but, you know, when he was moving out to the left, close to the left wing, trying to do something with the left foot, it just wasn't there. You know, so when he got up to his right, he did well because I was confident then, you know. But that was the only criticism I ever had of him. He had a heart of it as big as any you've ever seen. Huge heart, and scored a lot of goals for us. He scored some goals for us and was a great defensive header. The ball as well.
By the way, very remiss of me. I should have announced it at the start of the show. The guy phones in first tonight, gets a ticket for the game tomorrow. Right, okay. I should have announced that at the start of the show, shouldn't I? Right, okay.
You said you were going to read that out, that statement you made.
Sorry. I've lost it.
You lost it again.
If you get the chance, you find it on Twitter, mate. It was really poignant, really just fair play to the big man because he paid his soul, Jaffa, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. He's crying his eyes out. I think when Gio told him, you know, that it was over. It was very touching, I have to say. As I said, he obviously loved his time in Glasgow, and no doubt the Rangers fans that got to know him and seen him around the city and stuff like that. You know, he took a shine to them and both the city. So it's tough for you've got to remember, he's only a young man. He's only a young fella. You know, he came right out of his comfort zone. You know, moving from Croatia over here. So likeable big lad. But listen, you never know. You never know in football. It's got a funny way of doing things, and I'm not saying he might not be back as Niko Katic the player, but you know, Niko Katic the manager one day. You just never know with these things.
No, you never know. Look at Bassey's first Champions League tie. Look who he's playing. Look at fate. Preachy in it, Bridge, innit?
Aye, you're right, Paul. You're right. Fun and games.
Right.
I know. Fun and games.
All right, we've been joined by John. Evening, John.
Evening all. How you doing?
Hi,
It's going to look like I've phoned up for that ticket tomorrow.
No, it's all right. It was the first hour of the show. The competition lasted for.
Oh, it's lucky I don't go there anymore. Then it's lucky I don't go there. It's better chance to get a ticket off yours in gold than my jersey anyway.
That's true.
Difficult, isn't it?
It is. I'm just phoning up to kind of agree with Jaffa and Bridges' team, but I would actually put Scott Wright in there tomorrow.
Instead of Arfield, mate, I would take it.
Aye, instead of Arfield, keep Scott Wright on the right.
You thinking legs?
I just think legs. I think Gio's got a lot of faith in him. A real lot of faith in him. And it probably explains why he never played another night.
Don't know who was opening the sweeties, but go on mute. Right, sorry about that, John. Say it again.
No worries. I just think Scott Wright's the starter for tomorrow. Gio's got faith in him. He's not the best player in the world, we know that. He's not gifted the same some players are, but he's got heart. He'll run his heart out tomorrow. He'll do everything he can for us. And I just think that will suit it better. Very similar to what Scott Arfield was, but I just don't think Scott Arfield's got that anymore.
I get it, mate. And if you remember the semi-final when Wright came on for Ramsey, he's not a bad gamer.
He did have a good game in the semi-final when he came on. And actually, looking back in that semi-final, I watched a few clips of that earlier on to try and get me in the mood for it. I think Lundstrom's going to be absolutely instrumental tomorrow for us, if we're to win. I think that's where the game's won, in the middle of the park. If he keeps their captain quiet, I think we should be all right tomorrow.
Having been in Spain with Jaffa, I know he likes legs. Jaffa?
That's true as well. I think, John, I when I was looking at the team earlier on, and I've been thinking about it most of the week, I actually had Scott Wright in my team initially. The only reason I went back to Arfield was for two reasons. Was because I think sometimes Tav and Scott Wright can end up in the same area of the park, if that makes sense. They can end up. The two of them want to play in the same area. Tav, I think, his link-up play with Arfield is usually very effective. Arfield knows his game and he knows where he's going to move. And I just think the one touch, the triangles tomorrow, I think are going to be pivotal to the game. I think the way we move the ball and the speed that we move the ball at is going to be what is going to be the difference. Listen, I'd be happy if he picked Scott Wright as well. Scott Wright brings a lot to it. You're right. Arfield's not got the legs that Scott Wright's got. That Scott Arfield's got. So either or for me, but I ended up I opted for Arfield just because of that running into space that Tav likes to do. And usually Arfield if Gio deploys him to do a particular job, he can usually do it very effectively.
I totally agree with that.
John, do you think there's any chance that Tillman could get put out there again? Jack could come in beside Lundstrom and Kamara could play one forward?
For me personally, Ox, with Gio you never know, but Tillman is a quality number 10, absolutely brilliant. He could be one of the best ones we've had for years, and he could go longer, say 20 years, one of the best we've had, if we keep deploying him the right way. I think Tillman in that 10 role is brilliant. Lawrence, if he was fit tomorrow, for me, is a good 10, but he'd have been on the right. Tillman, you need in that centre of that park.
I don't disagree with you, but What was the game he done that against? They played them out. That was that Union? Was it Union? He played them out on the right and brought them inside. It was
the one at Ibrox, I think he did. Aye, where he got his goal from.
Aye, interesting. John, maybe he's done. For the start of the season, we've got long-term and short-term injuries. You know, but in the press conference today, obviously Lawrence isn't going to be back after the international break, but it sounds it similar with Ben Davis. We can't catch a break, can we?
We can, but actually with the press conference today, it gave you a bit of hope, and as daft as it sounds, if that press conference was yesterday, I think a lot of fans, including myself, wouldn't have been disappointed that there was no one brought in. If you've got Kemar Roof, Morelos coming back soon, was there any need for another striker brought in? It's money that we probably don't need to spend. Then Ben Davis back in training, that's your left centre half. As much as I like Sands, he's no left centre half. And then Hadji coming back, that's another guy in the midfield. So you're not going to go out and sign, say, Ross Bartley, for example, and the money he'd want. And Ross Bartley, to become match fit, would probably be around about the same time scale as some of these players to come back.
I get it. I mean, I've read something today where somebody says, Lawrence is injured. We should have signed somebody. We should have signed somebody if it was the right thing to do. You don't sign somebody unless you need them for injuries to cover long term, not for a fortnight, yeah?
Oh, totally. You can't just do that. Money's tight for everyone, including probably the club. All right, I don't particularly agree with the prices they charged us in the Champions League. They probably have their reasons for that. But you can't go and sign players. Players don't come cheap, especially players that we want of quality. You're not going to bring in, for example, don't know why he's popped into my head, but a Jason Holt type. He would do a job for a while, but is he really what the club's needing? You're not going to panic buy.
I'm sure that we looked at players. And we maybe couldn't get what we wanted, you know. And I'd rather not sign anybody unless it was to improve our quality. Just as you said, use the word panic buy. Right, how's this going to go tomorrow for you, John?
I'm not usually one for predicting the score when it comes to a big game.
Predict if you don't want to. Just see how you think the game's going to go then.
I think we'll win. I do. I genuinely do think we win. I always feel like that going into an Old Firm, no matter the occasion, but I just don't feel they've been tested. I'm not saying they don't play good football. For what I maybe see them now and again, they do play good football, but they've not played a team of their calibre yet. We proved it with PSV. We proved it in the second leg of Union. As Jaffa said earlier on, Union are no mugs. I think we'll beat them. I think if we go and play our game, don't worry about their game, don't worry about their atmosphere. We know how their crowd is. Just go and play the game that they boys can play. And a lot of the boys that have never played Old Firm games, they've played in certainly big experience games before, so I wouldn't worry about that too much.
I think none of all these goals are scoring, Jeff. There's no one of them being scored in my telly.
No. I particularly watched the game the other night there, the highlights of it, just because somebody had messaged me about them taking quick corner kicks, and it reminded me of under 10 coaching when I was playing football. Your manager always telling you when you got a corner to run out and take a quick corner, and that's exactly what they do. That's how they scored their goal, the first goal the other night. They tried it with us a couple of times last year, so I just hope we're alert to stuff like that. It's basic, but it's effective. But yeah, I'm with John. I fancy us tomorrow. I really do. And I agree with you also. I think John Lundstrom. I've got 4 key men in our team tomorrow. Borna Barisic, John Lundstrom, Malik Tillman, and Antonio Cholak for me are our 4 key men.
I was glad to hear the Lundstrom song back because we're in the Champions League now. It's a belter, isn't it?
That's a wee Scouser, when you get in the Champions League.
It's a belter bridge, isn't it? It was a good
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. There are some magic things that the fans have brought. I absolutely love the one for, what's his name? Warburton.
You loved that, didn't you?
The magic hat, absolutely. Warburton is
maybe
magic.
adopt you into that.
What was that, John?
I said you could maybe adopt Gio's name into the Magic Cat song.
Yeah, I'd like somebody to do that. Some of the boys are really good. They're very clever. And I would be singing that with all my heart, I'll tell you. I loved it.
I think the Lindstrom song will be always remembered with Seville, won't it? Always, I think every corner you turned, won't it?
Well, that's until we start singing it in Istanbul this year.
Here, mate. Here. Right, Jaffa, get the flights booked early this time. Right, okay. We'll be joined by AK, Mr. Positivity himself. How we doing, AK?
Good evening, Oxshire, Bridgeman, Jaffa, and I think it's John that's on the call there. Yeah, just thought I would give you a wee bell. Yeah, good evening, Bridgeman.
Good evening, pal.
Hi, Alex.
Good evening. Hi, Jaffa. Hi, pal. Thanks. Strangely quiet show tonight in the verge of the big game tomorrow. But was just what you offer you my thoughts on a team. I've heard Jaffa's team. If you want to hear mine, pretty similar. Couple of changes I would make to Jaffa's team, but McLaughlin for me starts in goal. Tavernier, Golson, Sands, Barisic. I would have Ryan Jack in next to Lundstrom. I would have Tillman playing the number 10 just behind Kovac, trying to support him when he can. Obviously Kent out on the left, and I would give Scott Wright a start in the absence of Lawrence. He seems to trust him for the bigger game. He started in the Europa final, and I think he, contrary to what Jaffa's thoughts is, I think he actually covers a lot of Tav's ground where he leaves in behind better than what Arfield would do, or somebody like that. So I'm looking for him to do that tomorrow. I think it could be a backs to the wall performance for the first 20-30 minutes. I think Kent has got a big role to play covering Borna as well.
What are you basing that on, Alec? Because look, I've thought about this, and I was speaking to a couple of wise guys today, no pun intended, right? And when you think back to the 4 games that were played the first half of the year, obviously we had a bad performance with Morelos and Figueiredo and things never went for us. We didn't play well and we get beat. We lost the game. We had a bad half of that, and they dominated the first half. If you think of the next 3 games after that, mate, they never dominated any of the starts of the game.
Aye, fair point. I'm just thinking that the crowd, you know what it's going to be. You're walking into the Lions Den, so they're going to be coming at us right for the first whistle. It actually reminds me a wee bit of like a Tommy Burns and Walters kind of battles that they had back in the day. Everybody and sundry outside the Rangers was writing Rangers off, and it was Celtic's winning how many goals they were going to put past us. But it didn't always work out that way. How many times was Burns left broken-hearted? The media piped this Ange Postecoglou up as the next messiah. I think Gio is got him kind of worked out. I think if we stay solid, stay in the game, and just put in this very similar performance to PSV, I think we can hurt them. And it's all about just staying in the game, because the both teams away in Scotland are petrified. They get intimidated with the atmosphere. I think our players, most of our players anyway, are experienced not to get overawed. We were blown away in that first half an hour, as you suggested, and that's where we lost the game, because we left ourselves too wide open with Diallo and that no covering, Borna and guys just not doing their job. So everybody has the same work ethic. Stay in the game and then pick them off. I think we can come away with a positive result tomorrow. So there's Mr. Positivity.
All right. Obviously, you're not feeling well. John, would you come in?
I'm thinking of the next League Cup game.
Alex Kelly, well said.
John, is that fair? Has it been fair there, Alex? Or do you want to
it's probably the most positive I've heard them, to be fair. But I think that's you should be going into an Old Firm game.
I think so, John. I think you've got to remember we're called the Rangers supporters, you know what I mean?
I think we've all got a wee bit of that, and we can all be negative at times. It's only because we all want the same thing.
Yeah, but no, it's negative.
Trazodon's good for
to be fair, I understand his negativity, Jaffa, when you see some of his mates, you know what I mean?
I'm hanging about with Andy Felix too often then.
Big Andy's a gentleman. Big Andy's a gentleman. Right.
Big Andy.
Well, you know what I mean. Right. I think we might not know quite yet. I get the Scott Wright Arfield. Is that the only one that's open for debate then? Is there no chance? I'll go to John first and then Bridge. Is there no chance of Morelos taking part tomorrow?
For me, no. You can't draft a guy who's scoring goals the way the big man up front is. He's brilliant.
I never said draft Sholak. I said there's no chance Morelos takes part.
Well, when the big man first signed, I did fancy the two of them to play together. Did they deserve to start a game tomorrow against Celtic? For me, no, personally.
Okay, I think we've been joined by Alex for Wishaw. Ethan, Alex?
Evening, Oxford. Bridgeman,
no him.
Alex.
Oh, no.
John.
Good evening. How you doing, Alex for Wishaw? You good?
I am.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, mate. It's good to get an Alex on. It's positive, mate.
It doesn't matter. I'll say once. It doesn't matter how old you get. You still get the butterflies before the Old Firm game. So I'm quite excited now about it. I just hope we get in and pop a top performance because we'll definitely need it. That's the thing about this game. You can never predict it.
It's always the same, mate. You went there thinking you're going to get beaten, you've won. You went there thinking you're going to win and you get beat. Yeah?
That's how it goes. You can never predict them. It's just the team that seems to want it a bit better, or else it's maybe a mistake, or you know yourself, sort of lack of concentration. But we've definitely, the PSV game definitely gave us a bit more confidence going into the Champions League. So we'll get in, what do you call it? We'll get tested and they'll get tested also. To me, basically, I think it'll be a draw. Oxford, I think it'll be a draw.
Okay. Would you take that, Jaffa? Would you take that now before the ball's kicked?
I would prefer the victory, but I would take a draw if that's the final outcome. A draw away from home at Parkhead is not the worst result, of course. I think the performance is important as well. I think if we perform, I think we'll do them. I've got a feeling we're going to beat them, and I'm basing that on our current form and the way that we've been playing. And I think we're a better equipped team. I think we're more cohesive, and I think we've got more winners. We've got more actual match winners in our team.
Alex, both teams play. Who wins?
I think we would win if it came to that. But I've just got a sneaky feeling. There's none between the two teams tomorrow. Just what you call it, getting into Celtic Park, you know yourself with the crowd and maybe just rate a wee bit better. But I hope we get a victory. But a draw is it's not a bad result. We definitely don't want to get defeated.
No, it's never good, is it? It's never good. And plus, where we are with the points because the two we draft. But it's not the end of the world, but I don't want it tomorrow. I get what you're saying. It could be a close game. But to these games, then,
need to host here, Jaffa. The main man's dropped out.
I've seen that. Did these get? I think his point he was going to say was, do these games are they defining? Is it a defining game at this early stage of the season? Alex, what's your?
Well, how I look at it, by the way, you don't want to go 5 points behind. Let's not be kidded here. And the goal difference. And the games are going to come down. I believe all firm games because Rangers and Celtic. I think Rangers only. Hello,
Alex.
Can you hear me? I don't know what happened here.
What's happening here?
I just believe what you call it. I think we're the only team that can take points off Celtic. So I definitely think it's going to be down to the Old Firm games. And I honestly hope we don't get defeated, because 5 points to me is a lot. I know it's only the beginning of the season and that, but pressure's right on you then. I know they're in the Champions League. That's new territory for them. But the point is they get it between their teeth. If they get a lead like that, you know how difficult it could be.
Alec Kelly, what's your thoughts on that? Is that a defining game of the season?
No, I very much concur with what Alex said there. It's one of them. Don't forget, by the way, we were at this point last season, we were 5-6 points clear of them, weren't we? And and everybody was saying to Postecoglou in his kind of tongue-in-cheek manner, well, nobody wins any trophies in September, So if the worst comes to the worst and we did lose tomorrow, I'm certainly not geeing up in the season. Yeah, it's got to be difficult, but as Alex says, if you offered me a draw now, I would probably take it, because we don't want to lose tomorrow. We want to stay with them. But if we come away with a victory, I think that's laying down a marker for the rest of the season to say, hey, we're no fear to play news. We think we're a better team, man, and we'll prove it in the long run. But it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be two teams that's going to go hell for leather. They'll be baying in blood, and our support, I don't know if you've seen this, Jaffa, they've to arrive there at 10:15 in the morning for a police, presence to walk across the park to be in the stadium for 2 hours before the game.
It's not worth it. That's not worth it for the Rangers fans.
What is that all about?
Disgraceful. But it's just disgraceful.
That's a statement for Police Scotland. They've to meet at the velodrome across the road for you at 10:15 tomorrow morning for a police assistance across the road.
They'll march them across the road to get into the stadium. I'll say to you now, and I've said it last season, I'm not being funny, I'm quite emphatic on it. We shouldn't be sending it. I know the Rangers fans want to go there. I know they do. I can't say, no, don't go. But we shouldn't be going through all that. That's not right. No. There's got to be a better way of getting it done. Rangers put up barriers and things like that to get the sort of the fans into the broom lawn there in the Celtic games. But really and truly, that's not right what they're doing to the Rangers fans. It's just not right. I don't care what MD says. It's not right, and we shouldn't be involved in that. They've got to come up with something better.
I agree, Budge.
So back to the game, lads. What's your thoughts as far as key personnel tomorrow? Who do you see being key in the match tomorrow, John? And then Bridgman.
As I said before, Lundstrom, for me, definitely in the middle of that park. And Tav's always instrumental in these games. Always a big game with Rangers. He's there or thereabouts. And you need a solid defence. I could go through the full team there, but the three for me is Lundstrom, Tav and Cholak up front.
Bridge.
Well, I think Lundstrom's going to be absolutely 100% key in that match. And he's going to get chased and harried as well. Going to pressurise on him. And Tillman, silky smooth. He's got to watch, because they'll batter into him. They'll just smash right into him. And they'll just say, it was a barge, but it's not a barge, The referee, hopefully the referee's right on top of the game and just watches these things, because they'll probably some similar tackles will take chances or take shots each on, and the likes of Tillman because he play. Then you watch for Kent. Kent will get booted all over the park and the referee will do nothing. That's what normally happens, may I say. That's what normally happens. I'd like to see the referee levelling it up a wee bit and stop that nonsense. If young Wright, who the last couple of games he played, he was getting tackled from behind every time, every single, because they couldn't catch him. So he was getting tackled from behind. And that'll happen again tomorrow with Wright. So I'm just saying there's areas of the park the referee's got to be on top of. If he gets on top of it and sorts it all out, then we've got a great chance.
I think we've been joined by Kilmarnock. You there, Kilmarnock?
Good evening, lads. Yep.
Hi, Kilmarnock.
How are you?
Hi there. Hi, all good. Just waiting for tomorrow. Just on the countdown, innit?
What's your thoughts, Kilmarnock? your eve of the Old Firm game. What's your thoughts tomorrow? What's your thinking?
Team-wise, I think the back four picks itself. I think Jack and Davis will be on the bench. So you're talking Tillman, Kamara and Lundstrom. I think Wright will be starting. He played well last week. He had a great game last week. And Cholak and Kolach. What is it? Cholak or Kolach and obviously Kent. So I think that'll be starting lineup. And hopefully we'll get some subs at the end of the game to try and hold the lead. So, looking forward to it. I think
the team pretty much is apart from. I mean, I think we're all similar, excluding Arfield and Scott Wright and possibly Ryan Jack in there. I think was it yourself, Alec? You said you felt Ryan Jack might get a start as opposed to Kamara. I think the team's pretty much self-explanatory. You know, I think we're all kind of thinking along the same lines, aren't we?
Who's this?
I just saw.
I take to you.
On you go tomorrow. All right, okay. It's interesting. I mean, we've got options there. No matter who's coming in, it's going to be a good player, isn't it? You know so that's a sign we've got a good, strong bench here, just in case we need any changes. But I'm hoping Gio actually utilises his bench as well. If things go well for us and we're winning or we're well in the game, I'm hoping to introduce Steve Davis to the action because he's a calming influence when people are losing their head round about us. But if Morelos does make a bench and he does come on, I'm praying that he does react. You know, he reacts in a positive manner for the team himself and the manager. You know, because they're going to be out to wind him up. So if Morelos does play any part tomorrow, please don't react, and because I've got to provoke you. You know.
All right, he's been setting up once in 3 years. The boy's matured. He made a mistake. I'm sure everybody's made mistakes. You know. I think he will definitely play a part tomorrow for me.
Welcome back, Oxshire.
I'm back, mate. Don't you worry. Are you still here? Did you know I took your hand? Right.
Right, I'm away then.
The man that AK mentioned, Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack, is he 100% fit to start an Old Firm game?
I don't think so, and I honestly can't see him coming off the bench either. I think it will be Davis. I think in midfield, I think Arfield will come on later on as well, and I do think Morelos will come on later. I think that'll be 3 subs, unless there's injuries. Then we're forced into some subs or Reds, hopefully not, but no, and I think the subs will be late in the second half or halfway through the second half, just to freshen up a bit. I just think Ryan Jack's not fit enough for them coming at us at full pelt, which they're going to do for the first 2/3 of the game. And I think it's too fast for Steve Davis, but he'll control it when he comes on at the end. You know what I mean? And when they've tired a wee bit, that'll be my 3 subs, I think.
AK, what was your rationale with Jack, considering he's not had a lot of football?
I just think that him and Lundstrom have a good understanding in the middle of the park together. I watched them closely. I know that it wasn't the most competitive game against Queen of the South, but he strolled through that game. And I just think that Lundstrom and him read each other far better than he does playing with Davis or Kamara. And for me, it's just a personal preference, but I think Lundstrom does, put his presence better on the game with Jack alongside him, and he knows he's going to get a guy that's going to, be in the trenches with him when the things are getting tough. He's not going to charcuterie tackles. Kamara can disappear a wee bit for me. Sometimes Arfield can't keep pace. Davis is the same. I don't think I know you're saying Jack's no 100% fit, and he isn't, but that sort of game, you always find that wee bit extra within yourself that you didn't think that you had.
Jaffa, you're a big fan of Ryan Jack. He would normally be one of the first names in the team sheet in these games. But this season's no planned out for him, is it?
No, I don't think he's 100% fit, Ox. I don't think we've seen enough of Ryan. I think the game I saw with him earlier on in the season, I thought he was maybe carrying a wee bit too much beef. But I did notice him Wednesday night, and I think he certainly looks sharper. I don't think I think Kamara's ahead of him by a wee bit of a distance at the moment. I agree with partly what Alex saying there. Kamara can drift out of games. His concentration levels can drop. But Glenn Kamara, if he keeps his head in the game, like he proved in PSV and in numerous other high-profile games for us, he's a top-class operator, Glenn Kamara, and he can really take a lot of pressure off that back four, especially if you are under a bit of P. He's got that in his game. So for me, it's Glenn Kamara and John Lundstrom tomorrow as the two.
Alex Fisher and then John.
I agree with Jaffa there. I think Kamara will play. Definitely. I think one of the guys, everybody will need to play, we know that, but I think one of the guys is James Sands here. I think that Kyoko, I think that's where James Sands will play, right on him with the pace. You know, the wee guy's really fast, but so is James Sands, and I think that could be one of the match winners in there, if James Sands can keep him quiet.
Okay, I get me from for John.
I on the point of Ryan Jack, I think he's an absolutely quality player, but I think he's more squad now. I don't think it's a game tomorrow for him. I know he got minutes against Queen of the South, but it's a different kettle of fish tomorrow, really, isn't it, for him? I think Kamara's got that experience, played in Eindhoven, and John Lundstrom, well, he's one of the first names in the team sheet these days.
Tomarnock?
Can I see if Jack had 3 or 4 games under his belt in a row? He would be the first pick by most days, I think. But the fact that he's not really match fit, is he? So he's not 100% in these games. We need people at their maximum. And even though in your heart and in your mind, you might do that wee bit extra, but your bodies might not do it. But as I say, if he had 4 games under his belt, 90 minutes or whatever, playing, then he would be my first pick in there for his fighting qualities. And he is a great player when he's game, when he's day. Unfortunately, it's too soon for him, but we'll maybe see him in the Champions League a bit, getting a start at some point.
He might have a part to play tomorrow. I don't think he'll start AK, but I think he could have a part to play.
Aye, well, listen, if you're just going with your kind of own thought, and everybody's got their kind of favourite players, you know, it's maybe that's swayed me. But listen, I was really impressed with Glenn Kamara's performance in PSV. I actually said during the week there, unbeknown, that obviously Lawrence wasn't going to make it. If we did the exact same team that fielded at PSV, I wouldn't have an argument, you know. So it's just down to the players. If they show the same aptitude and dedication and heart and desire and everything that they put out in Holland, then that's what we're looking for tomorrow. That's what we need tomorrow. A very professional, dedicated performance. Take your game plan to them, you know, and make them think about deficiencies they have in their own team, because they just go gung-ho, everybody attack, and they don't think of the consequences of leaving gaps in at their back line. And I think that's where we need to be clever. We need our Kent to be right on it tomorrow. Right, if he's playing, need him right. We could hit him with pace, you know, Tillman linking with Kovac. That's a wee concern. Sometimes we leave Čolak that wee bit isolated up top. Tillman done a great job of linking that over in Eindhoven, and I'm hoping it's going to be the same again tomorrow. But I'm thinking McLaughlin is actually a key man to have a good performance tomorrow. You know, and he was definitely commanding against them in the semi-final of the Cup last year. I thought that was a massive difference, him being in goals for us to get us that win.
I think that the Čolak one, and I'll take this to Alex Fisher. If Čolak, he's playing up there, he'll be peeling off their 2 centre-halves. He's a guy who'll look for space. I don't think it'll bother him being isolated if he gets the ball in the right areas, if that makes sense, Alex.
Absolutely. And the big guy will score. You watch some of their games, by the way, and let's not be kidded here. They've never really been tested. The teams that have played them and they've had chances, because they've not any quality, they've not been able to finish. If Rangers get some of these chances, they'll put them away. They'll definitely put them away. And I've got, as I say before, these Old Firm games are very hard to predict. It's just that we get in there with the right attitude, desire, and everybody plays their potential. We'll get a result. That's how I look at it. And I'll be back to backs sometimes during the game, and then we'll create chances as well. But the PSV game gave us all the confidence in that to go. We've been to better stadiums than that with partisan crowds and beat them. But we know how difficult it is tomorrow. So here's hoping we can turn it on. Everybody's at least an 8 out of 10. And Alex right enough, John McLaughlin's got a big part to play as well here, as with the team. But I've got a funny feeling, that if Big Colak gets the chances, he'll definitely find the net.
Can I just say as well, Alex, that on top of what you said, particularly about McLaughlin, we've got to be very wary about playing across out for the goalkeeper, because they are pretty quick up front. So they'll quickly put pressure on, and they do the high press. We need to watch out with that. Let the goalkeeper clear the ball rather than pass it across, because we tend to pass it out to like Golson. The Golson can't find them, so we pass it back to the keeper, and out it goes to the left, and so on and so forth. And we just end up getting further and further back till we're playing on their own goal line, and we don't want that.
Ox, I'm going to drop out there. Just all you guys enjoy the game tomorrow. Stay safe and good luck to the Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah. Great to hear from you again, John. Always an excellent call, mate.
Right, thanks very much, guys. Right, bye-bye.
See you, John.
Cheers, John.
Should have a guy on here. It's unusual. Jeff?
I'm very much in agreement with most of the lads and what they're all saying. It's all about who turns up. If we turn up with the right attitude, as I said, the game will be played at pace. They always are, and for me, that's key to it. And provided we take the one touch and move, I think we'll be well on our way to turning them over. If we take our time on the ball and we're dilly-dallying, which Glenn Kamara is guilty of on occasions, gets caught in possession. Lundstrom, it's happened to as well. If we get the middle of the park right, i.e. the personnel right, and we're moving and passing and moving, and the triangles, and doing the right, that real high-tempo football that we're really, really good at, which we done so effectively in PSV and in various other games last season. And again against them in the semi-final. I think I can't see anything other than that Rangers victory tomorrow.
Here, Jaffa, you can come back. Mark.
I can't get any predictions, because the last two predictions I've done on here were the complete opposite. So and I can't give him anything at all. So just as long as you don't
have Hitler winning the war.
The last time I was on.
I don't worry about the just give your thoughts. Giovanni, now it's time to settle down to Marnock, and we've seen some of the things he's done. Yeah, he's made errors, because he does. And what's your overall thoughts?
I think he's a good tactician, isn't he? He reads the game well, especially at our two legs. And tomorrow we'll see if he beat him tomorrow, then he's got him. Know what I mean? He's got him out of barrel, tactic wise. And I think he's a much better manager than Gerrard. And as I say, it's took time. When Gio's took a victory there. Know what I mean? And as I say, I think it's in us. It's definitely there for us. Know what I mean? We just need to go out and get a game plan, stick to it, and stop them playing as well. But he's a good manager, Gio.
He's grown on me. AK?
Gio is... I base it Europe 9 out of 10, domestic 5 out of 10. A lot to prove domestic for me. That might be down to personnel. It might be down to the attitude of the players, but let's not forget we kind of blew the lead that we had last year. But he won the Scottish Cup on it, so but the league was the one that we wanted, so and the league's the one we want again. So he's still got a lot to prove domestically, but Europe he's been fantastic.
5 out of 10. He's lost 2 games domestically. All right, okay. Tough crowd.
Over the piece of last year.
Jaffa, he's lost 2 games. That's a fact in the league. Fact. End of. Fact. Tough crowd. Jaffa.
I mean, I know we all see things differently. I know that's the name of the game. I think he's a tremendous manager. I mean, we all knew the player, but for me, I mean that game against PSV alone was his tactics were absolutely spot on. As some of these games last year in the semi-final against them. Yeah, we didn't win the league. I know that. There was mitigating circumstances, of course. Rearranging fixtures and moving them, and changing dates and so forth. It's always going to be challenging, isn't it?
Aye, deliberately you bring in new players and affect the fixtures. 5 out of 10, lost 2 games. Wow, you must have some team, man. I suppose every year, we have to go undefeated now.
Aye, hopefully it's this year, aye. And next year as well. I say, I don't know, overall 8 out of 10 so far. Took out Gerrard's team, didn't he, and got to that final, which was one bad penalty away for a European trophy. That's not so bad, no? I mean, that's a good European record. But we need the league this year, and that starts tomorrow. Just put screw on them, get it back at them. Sure.
I get it, the league's your priority. The league is your priority every year. The other stuff, I think it's Southside says it's all gravy. But the gravy caveat in it last year, Dilmarnoka.
Aye, it was. But this year, isn't it? Really, it's still this year. It's only a few months ago. It's been the best season for Maesties last season, even though we fell just right at the final hurdle. The journey was amazing. And we're on it again, you know what I mean? But we're back on the train, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
The train doesn't stop.
Aye, the reason we lost the league was obviously we lost a couple of games. We made mistakes at home against them particularly. We shouldn't have lost that game. The one away we deserved to lose. It was the draws at Ross County, the 2 draws at Morelos at Ibrox. And whether that was down to Gio or players making individual errors. If you think of the goals we lost, Alan McGregor against Hearts, Alan McGregor against Ross County, so maybe the mistakes he made was no playing John McLaughlin earlier. I don't know. Bridgeman?
I wouldn't blame John McLaughlin for any mistakes, to be perfectly honest with you.
Alan McGregor made the errors. Maybe the mistakes.
Oh, Alan McGregor, aye.
No playing John McLaughlin earlier in the league, maybe.
Yeah. But I don't think, seriously, I'm not a great goalkeeper blamer. But sometimes there is a blunder, and that's all there is to it. You just accept it. But they've saved many. Both of them have saved many times this season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a great one for blaming goalkeepers. They've got a very tough job. Thankless task at times as well. Just be told.
All right. We'll be joined by Doc. Evening, Doc.
Evening, lads. I called a couple of weeks ago. Right, boys. I called a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to come back on and just say that I was advocating for we needed a Mabo centre half, if you mind right.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched the PSV game, I was dreading it when they got their first corner, but I have to say that John McLaughlin came out and won the ball like a good goalie does. If he performs to that standard, the more set pieces, corners, has a belief in himself that nobody can out jump him if he times his jump the right way, then I think we're in with a good shout. I'm still worried about this defence, but that showed me against the PSV that if he can be solid at the back, you need a goalkeeper that's solid and knows what he's doing. he's a key man tomorrow, in my opinion. They're all key men. Everybody goes over that white line is a key man. But I just wanted to go back and say that I was very proud of them, and I'm very proud of the team. And for the last 3 years, I can see it on the ground. I can see it in their faces, and I hear it in their talk. They are afraid when they play us, but we're nervous. I get that. I mean, I'm nervous now. I can feel it, as the guy was saying earlier on, you can feel butterflies in your stomach. That starts a couple of days before the game. But I have no fear of them. It's their fear against us, because we're the only team in this league that they go into the park and have doubts about. Now, the domestic trophies are key. It's great going into Europe and all that, and getting the way we've done, brilliant. But we have to be conscious of the fact in the next number of years, a priority must be put on winning. If we win the league, then we don't need to worry about qualifiers. We're into the big money. But I'm quite happy if they guys go in the park tomorrow and come up and they've all done their best and committed themselves 100%, tried their best, and we want a result. We want a win. A win is what we really want. What we need is at least a draw. But if the guys just go in the park and play the way they played, the team and the squad play the way they did against PSV, come off the park with their heads held high, and they've done that in a number of games this season, then we as a support and as a fan base, that's all we can ask for. But everybody has to be 100%. As far as the team goes, I would like to see Arfield in the team, because he's a Rangers man. And they've got a couple of players who are Celtic men. And I think it's important to have that in your team. Everybody's commitment should be equal. But when you're a fan of the team you're playing for, there's that wee bit extra there. And he scored a couple of goals last week. I quite like him. And this thing about not being fit, I mean, these guys, this is their job. They train to be fit. I think Ryan Jack needs, and what he might have had, is a wee talk with the manager, reminding him and showing him videos how good he really is. That's kind of all I wanted to say.
Oh, no. Well said, Doc. Listen, before we quickly answer some of your points, we need to hear Southside's Super 6.
Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 3rd of September. My first selection is Queen's Park Rangers to win away from home at Swansea City. My second selection is Sheffield Wednesday to win at home against Barnsley. My third selection is Leyton Orient to beat Tranmere. My fourth selection is Bristol Rovers to beat Morecambe. My fifth selection is Oxford to beat Burton, and my sixth selection is Manchester City to win away from home against Aston Villa. My Rangers bet for this weekend is Cholak to score first, Rangers to win 2-0, and that pays 120 to 1, and also the Super 6 pays 28 to 1.
I know you like that feature, AK. It's difficult, isn't it? Getting 6 up's difficult.
Aye, fair play, Southside, mate. He started away like a train, didn't he? He's been very difficult, but I know the likes of Keith and that out there are following his bets. I'll throw a fiver at it every week myself, so good luck to you. Aye. Listen, what's the double chance Rangers draw and win tomorrow? Have you had a look at that, Ox?
No,
that might be a sensible bet or not.
It might be.
The way we're all talking tonight, eh? But listen, I'm going to drop out now, pal, okay? I've got things to do tonight, so thanks for taking my call and all the best. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Cheers, girls all.
Cheers.
Right, all the best, guys.
See you, Alec.
Cheers. Gaffer on Doc's point.
Yeah, I think
McLaughlin he is absolutely going to be key tomorrow, and you're right, he did the first corner with PSV, he came out and he collected the ball brilliantly, settled the nerves, and you want your goalkeeper to do that. I think you're right, I think they're all key men tomorrow, but there are some standouts for me, and McLaughlin, if he links up the play and keeps the ball moving through the defence, and I think the way they play their high line where they push up, I definitely think Rangers will try and play through that. I'm almost convinced they will, in particular over beside Barisic. With Barisic and Kent and Kamara, I think they'll try and play through that with the triangle, with the passing. That's what I was alluding to earlier. So, and John McLaughlin's key to that. He's critical because he keeps the ball moving at pace out of the defence. And he's also sensible enough, John McLaughlin, which is one of the other things I really like about him, is see when he sees the pressure's too much, if in doubt, he just punts it out the park. Get it up the park, just get it out the danger zone, and I like that about McLaughlin. And that's one of I think that's one of Gio's one of the reasons why he plays McLaughlin, is I think he gives him that confidence.
I will see. I'm hoping, Doc. You could lean against the post and read the paper tomorrow.
I tend not to buy papers because you check the back pages, Rangers maybe get a mention, but it's all about some other team. But no, I agree with what you said. I'm a bit nervous. I was one of your previous callers was talking about this passing the ball out and passing it back and about your penalty area. I get nervous about that. To say I was an old sweeper and I just like my goal to punt it up the road so I wasn't getting put under pressure. But I think maybe that they will play high up, and that's kind of their style anyway. So I think there might be opportunities for McLaughlin just to punt it and maybe catch them on the break. You know what I mean? Because we've got a couple of fast players there, and I've got a wee feeling that Kovacs might do a wee bit of damage tomorrow. Obviously, I hope he does. Yeah. And I like the boy Tillman. He's a classy player. You can just see it with some of his wee moves. But I agree with one of your other callers that said, they'll just club them. This is what they'll do. This is their style. And you know what? See, if we win the toss, let's take the kick out first, and let's put them in the back foot, because if they win the toss, that's what they want to do with us. So whoever wins the toss and kicks the game off, that's key and all. Because Rangers have been like that for a while now. You see them right away on the front, but they're the same. So let's hope we win the kick off to start the game off. That'd be good and all.
I don't want to give him nothing. No, not even.
No, I know. You just say no. We'll take the ball first. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Listen, we've reached that time of the evening. Doc, thanks very much for calling us again. Great to hear from you, mate.
It's just I was sitting listening to that, and I was waiting, and somebody was doing a bit of dog sitting, so I couldn't really go in any earlier. But heads up, lads.
You were doing a bit of dogging. Did I hear you right there?
No, dog sitting. I mean, dog sitting.
Sorry.
I don't do that. I don't know. I don't even know what dogging is.
Very good.
Thanks.
And I never even dog school either. Never nothing. Anyway, right. Listen, good to talk to you, lads, and heads up.
Cheers, Doc.
Good talk.
Enjoy the
Bye,
game.
lads.
Alex, last words.
Another great show, Ox, there. Thanks very much for having us on. And here's hope Rangers get a good result tomorrow. Thank you.
Mark.
I think, just want to say, I think we need to mix our corners up a wee bit. Just we're a wee bit predictable, so we'll hope there's a wee bit mixing up the corners. And we've got a lot of Big John McLaughlin memes tomorrow. His deck chair and all that. That'd be a good Saturday night. Reading all them.
Very well said.
John.
Yep, thanks for having me on, Ox. Appreciate it. Show's been brilliant as usual. Thanks to Bridgeman. I'm going for a 3-1 victory for the Teddy Bears tomorrow. I fancy it strongly. Over to you, Bridgeman. I think Ox has dropped out.
Oopsie daisy. Sorry, Ox, yeah. Can I just say, Jaffa, thanks very much for putting up with me tonight, and to obviously the Oxter and the techie guys behind the scenes. I hope they're going to throw out some seats, some streams tomorrow for tomorrow's game. very appreciated. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one is remember this massive, massive game tomorrow, and we are the people, and we must make them show them we are. Just show them we are. So for me, keep it going for the Rangers, everybody, please keep it going for Rangers.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks. This has been Rangers Radio. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Now there's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jab. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoats Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town, and the bar staff, they are one terrific crowd. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere, singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid Bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the Thames before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all.